Hi everybody, Joe Vizio here. Out on Tuesday now, doing my thing. A little bit of physical work to do, and I'll go over and hang out at this big building for a little bit. And seems so far the customers happy, employees are happy. That makes me happy. Let's see if we can make a little bit of money out of this. So, yeah, I said I had some other things I wanted to talk about. And, right around the end of the last video I did, I was telling you guys that, I've had some major dental reconstruction going on. I had a lot of my upper teeth were pulled, and I'm wearing like a denture now, and it's going to be a long process, but after all the healing and everything is done, I'm eventually just going to do the implants. And I've said before that my dental situation was something that always bothered me. I never received any kind of dental care when I was a kid, when I was growing up. I went to a dentist one time, and that's because I had my tooth knocked out. Messing around at school, I was in like first or second grade, and I got hit in the face with a lunchbox and it knocked the tooth out, and it was a baby tooth, so no big deal. But that is the only time I ever sat in a dental chair until I was 22, 23 years old. But by the time I was 22, 23 years old, I'd already had some major issues going on. I remember back at that time, they were already quoting me $5,000-$6,000 to do all that stuff, and I didn't have that kind of money. So, here I am, 44 years old, and I'm finally getting done what needs to be done. So I can't wait to do the whole implant thing, because boy, this thing in my mouth is kind of something else to get used to, let me tell you. So that's that, right? So we haven't started work on the bottom part yet, and there's a lot of my bottom teeth are still the same. I had what was beyond repair removed, and what I have left in there can be repaired, and we're going to go ahead and put one of those partials or a bridge or something like that in there. So I'll eventually have a full set of choppers, I said in another video that I was 7 years old when my father left, and my mother was pushed into the workplace. She had to take a couple buses and a train across the city to be able to get to work. So she was up and out of the house before me and my sister got ready for school. My sister was not one of those that was a indentured servant. There's some times where, an older sibling may have to take care of the younger sibling in the absence of a parent. That didn't happen for me, because my sister didn't want anything to do with me. She just thought I was a little retard. And but if I would have got run over by a car on the way home, my sister would have just stepped over my body and kept on going. That's just the way she was. So, you know, I said this before, I wasn't really mature enough to take care of myself. I didn't do all those hygiene things that you know you're supposed to do. You're supposed to learn and take that responsibility at that time. You know, my mother didn't enforce anything when she came home from work. She came home and had everything that she can do to microwave something for dinner and then put her pajamas on and lay in bed because she had to be up by 5 o'clock the next morning. So a lot of times my mother went to bed before I went to bed. So she wasn't there to make sure I brushed my teeth and washed my face and hands and stuff like that before bed. And she wasn't there when I woke up for school the next day. I was a 7-year-old boy, and at that I was a 7-year-old boy that was probably that wasn't very mature. So, you know, in the long run, I paid the price for it. So, you know, it's me and my wife. We were, you know, talking about all this and discussing it, and you know, we were kind of, you know, looking at my bottom teeth and, you know, deciding what we're going to do and how we're going to do it. And, you know, I point out to my wife that one of my bottom teeth has a chip in it. And I'm not going to sit here and stick this camera inside my mouth and show you, but right up in the front, you know, there's a little chip on one of my teeth. And I told my wife, I said, yeah, I remember when that happened. Was sitting in the passenger front seat of the car. I must have said something or done something that triggered my father, and I ate the back of his hand. And when he did that, I remembered a little piece of tooth that I pulled out. I mean, he chipped my tooth by smacking me. And my wife asked me, she goes, well, what did he say? Well, I didn't remember him saying anything. And the reason I don't remember him saying anything is because I didn't tell him anything. I didn't say, oh, you chipped my tooth, nothing. Because the first reaction that went through my mind was that, man, I must have really done something to deserve this. He was so mad he chipped my tooth. I thought that was normal. That was just a battle scar. I messed up so bad that my father had to hit me hard enough to break my tooth. So I never said anything. It just took my little piece of tooth and that was it. So there's another one for the memory log, huh? That's something how them things kind of just stick with you, you know? But I guess we've all been through something like that. You know, I've talked about a dream I had before, and it was Belle Michelle that was kind of helping me analyze it. And, you know, it can be kind of traced back to some of the things that I'm talking about here, the whole, you know, not being ready to take care of myself, hygiene, being able to dress myself properly, having the stuff to be able to dress myself properly with. And you know, I didn't have to walk around naked or wear trash bags or anything like that. I had clothing, but my clothing didn't get replaced as often as it maybe should have. My father bought the nice things for himself. My mother couldn't afford to buy a lot of things. It carried with me as an adult. I was telling my wife that, I can't really remember a time from like 18 years old up until maybe 24, 25. I can't remember going out and buying myself a pair of pants or anything like that. I know a lot of things that I got were hand-me-downs from my father. His things would just get, older and beat up, and he would just pass them down to me. And, they were, expensive things for their time. So I would wear my father's hand-me-downs a lot of time. But, I don't remember, not until I was going to go out on my first date with my ex-wife, my first wife. A friend of mine that worked at Disney had some kind of a discount that he was able to get at the Ross store. And we went over to the Ross store and I bought myself a shirt and a pair of pants so that I can go out on a date with my first wife. And you know what? I don't really talk about her much. One of these days I'm going to open up that can of worms, because that's a tale in its own there. So anyway, the whole dressing fashionable and all that never really took with me. I would have been the type of guy to have 7 pairs of pants and 7 shirts, all the exact same, so I don't have to think about what I'm going to put on the next day. And, it kind of bothers me now. It's, when I had that dream, it was obvious that it bothered me. And, I don't even remember what I named that video that I made about it. It was, probably coming up on a year ago that I did that. But, it bothers me. My wife helps me out now. I have gotten myself some nice things. A lot of times when you guys see me sitting here in front of the camera, I'm not dressed up or don't have my nice clothing on because I'm usually on my way to work. It's very rare that I do make a video at home. I know there's a few out there. And even then, I'm probably wearing some kind of just a t-shirt that I threw on. So you look on the other end of that, looking through that phone or that computer screen, and you see me, I'm wearing my grubbies because I'm on my way to work. And reason I bring this up, probably about 2-3 weeks ago, I received an email. And the email came from an anonymous source. An anonymous source from a proxy anonymous email address. So I was curious a little bit as to who sent it to me. And the email had said something, and I'll paraphrase because I don't remember everything. But it said, I just wanted to let you know that the clothes that you wear do not look good on you. You should be proud of yourself. And for me to take that advice from a friend. And I can tell you, at first, When I first seen that thing, it was a little bit of a shock. I was, I don't know, it stung a little bit right here, you know. But I couldn't say that email was untrue. You know, it's one thing when somebody tells you the truth and you got that cold water over the face shock. It you know, it stings a little bit, but it's the truth. It's something you may need to hear. Rather than somebody just being an asshole and being blunt and saying things that may not be true, or just saying something that may just be opinion based. You know, truth is truth. You can't hide from the truth. And I just happen to agree with that email. I don't look good in the clothes that I wear. But the clothing that I wear is meant for me to go out to work in. When me and my wife are going to go do something, you know, I put on the nicer things. And my wife is always trying to build my confidence and tell me how good I look and all that. And, you know, if you guys are anything like me or went through the things that I went through, you know, sometimes when somebody is telling you that you look good, you might find that more uncomfortable than somebody telling you that you look bad. I mean, you're already used to somebody telling you you look bad, but when you look good, you know, oh, no. Just get that spotlight off of me. Don't pay no mind to me. I'm kind of like that. I don't like that attention. When I got into my early 20s, my father used to tell me all the time, you want to attract a good woman, you got to make sure that you look good, because no women like you and you dress like a bum and you got to look, and he was 100% right. Of course, I feel by that time, you know, it's too late to just be told something. You know, if you're going to train somebody like that, let's just say as a child, okay? Let's just say that my father took pride and actually taught me, instead of putting me down, because when I was a kid, he would tuck your shirt in, put that in there, do that, you look like a bum, you look blah, 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 blah. He would do that all the time. But he didn't teach me. He didn't buy me nice things. Not that he has to do that. I'm not crying because Daddy didn't buy me something. But if as a child, if I was bought nicer clothes, taught how to take care of them, and when I say teach how to take care of, I mean teach how to take care of, not punch me in the face because I left it on the floor. That's not teaching me anything except for how to avoid to get punched in the face. But you teach a child this way, this starts to become habit as they grow up. Just like brushing your teeth. If you don't have a habit of brushing your teeth when you're 5, 6, 7, 8 years old, when you're a teenager, when you're an early adult, those things aren't going to pick up good for you until you start to have problems. And when you start to have problems, it's already too late. That was my case. Because believe me, after, you know, I went to the dentist and they told me this one and 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 $6,000 and blah, blah, blah. Every day I was shoving that toothbrush down my throat. But it was already too late. The damage was done. The damage just progresses, and this is how it is. So now, as a 44-year-old man, and my wife is telling me I look good in some clothing that she helped pick out and things like that, it's hard for me to look in the mirror and say, yes, you do look good. I feel awkward. So that's my take on that there. A little bit of, I guess, food for thought. And I know this type of thing happened to a lot of us. A lot of us are narcissistic parents, one or the other, took care of their own needs before they took care of yours. Even if they did eventually take care of your needs, just, you know, the quality of what you got was nothing even close to the quality that your parents enjoyed. That was the case with my father. My mother, you know, she didn't have two nickels to rub together. My father took care of himself. Just go back and reference the video, A Bed to Rest Your Head. My father had a huge king-size, state-of-the-art waterbed. I slept on roll-away cots that were taken from the hotels he worked at throughout the entire time that I lived with my father. From the time that we moved here to Florida at 13 years old, that's when I left my regular bed, and I had a real bed with a mattress and a box spring. At 13 years old, I was left in Florida and left in Philadelphia because we didn't want to put it on the truck and pay to have it shipped down here, and he was going to buy me a new one. And I didn't get that bed until I was like 6 or 7 years old. So out of 18 years, it was like a 4-year period that I had a real bed. My dad had a nice one. So anyway, I'll stop crying about that there, and you know, we'll send this one here to the processing factory and see what you guys think of it. So go ahead and close this one out, and I want to thank you guys for subscribing and taking care and participating with everything. One moment. What's up, man?
What's up, buddy?
How you doing?
Good. I ain't seen you in a minute.
Yeah, man, you've been driving, huh?
I know.
That's good. Better job?
I'm trying to move up in the world.
Hey, man, good for you. You know that? And get you out of that warehouse a little bit. Get to see some sights.
It's painful in there sometimes.
I can imagine, man.
Once the cattiness,
I'm on my way there right now.
I'll see you there.
All right, Bubba.
All right, man.
One of my friends from one of my customers. Anyway, I'll go ahead and close this out, and you know, I'll catch you guys next time. Thanks a lot.